We kind of had a feeling, and we sort of called it. Before Beyond Light officially launched, we didn't have any insight on new weapon values, and I said we would see 720s becoming a more powerful archetype for PvP. And so here we are today, doing a quick overview of 3 720s not sunset and which one is the best for PvP. Today we talk about Steelfeather Repeater from Season of the We Get Saint 14 back, Artic Haze, the brand new Europa weapon obtainable from Varix with his weapon quest, and the Venerable Reckless Oracle from the Garden of Salvation raid, a personal favorite of mine and a weapon we did a review on earlier. So let's get started with TTK values. All three of these in their base form offer a 0.83 second time to kill against a 10 Resilience Guardian, not too shabby. And if you get a chance to run a side-by-side comparison against a 600 RPM auto right now, you notice much more consistent wins in 1v1 duels. For those of you who love their 600 RPM autos, feels bad, man, but I highly recommend you give any of these a shot. They are very good in 1v1s and hilarious to use in control or larger team game modes because you can add backup mag and pump your magazine sizes to over 60 rounds, making for a miniature sweet business setup. Enemy thinks you're going to run out of bullets soon, starts to push, and not realizing you got another 30 rounds in the bag ready for him. It's stupid, it's fun, and a joy to use in Crucible. Would I use any of these in trials? The short answer is yes, but on smaller maps only. With that said, let's dive into each of these. First up, we got Steelfeather Repeater. Now, I think I used to have 3 or 4 rolls from this, and I just deleted them thinking we would never see this becoming the primary weapon of choice, and I kind of regret it now. My roll in particular here is pretty bad, and I have no idea why I kept this specific roll, but for those curious, you could have gotten this with Arrowhead Break, High Cal, Ricochet Rounds, Feeding Frenzy, Swashbuckler, Multi-Kill Clip, or even Vorpal. What this gun lacked though is instability. Compared to our other 2 weapons, this weapon just bounces around a ton. It makes 1v1 engagements a lot more challenging. Now, you could get Elemental Capacitor that would buff stability if you chose a Void subclass, but let's be real. How many of you are rocking a non-stasis subclass right now? This weapon also has lower base stats for everything else, making it something I store in my vault normally. Now, pre-Beyond Light, I actually hated this weapon. I thought it literally sounded like steel feathers rubbing each other, and with that low stability, as I mentioned, it was a bit unwieldy and inconsistent. In Beyond Light though, it can shine in a non-competitive game mode, a more competitive time to kill, and if you have a roll with a damage perk, means something you can go on sprees with and just slay out. But with that said, this isn't something I would choose over our next 2 720s. Alright, so next up we have our brand new Artic Haze auto rifle from Beyond Light from Europa, and this weapon is still obtainable and can be acquired by completing weapon bounty quests from Varix on his second page. I will start with, this is a great gun. It hits so many checkboxes off the bat. Good stability, aim assist, zoom, magazine size, and it sounds really good when firing. Now, this auto doesn't have any damage buff perks, which normally makes it less viable for Crucible these days, but it does have some unique perks like Killing Wind, Thresh, not to mention options like Vorpal and Eye of the Storm. My roll here was once again nothing special. It has Chambered Compensator, Appended Mag, Outlaw, Eye of the Storm. You always know what's a good gun if even though you have a meh roll, you still enjoy using it. And this weapon is so much fun to use. 720s are great in duels because of the amount of flinch they cause. And due to this weapon's high base stability, it's always a lot more manageable to keep the reticle on the target's head and get that fast TTK. And like other 720s, they're surprisingly good to use when hip firing for those emergency spray and pray situations. I can't quite figure it out, but if this had some kind of damage buff like Kill Clip, Rampage, or even Swashbuckler, this would be a much more dominant and popular weapon in Crucible. But even so, this is a must-have even without those perks. It's that good. Now, lastly, we have our 720 Bay Reckless Oracle. Now, there are 2 things that I need to state for the final review here, and that this was the only weapon I had the, quote, God roll with. And out of all 3, I've had the most, game time using this in PvP. But with that said, this gun absolutely melts. I think if it sounded like something other than some light-hitting laser gun, and you know what? It kind of sounds like the guns the Terminators are firing at the beginning of Terminator 2 in the opening scene. But anyways, I would be much more vocal that people farm garden to get this. But I mean, the way I could best describe this for those unfamiliar is that this is the waking vigil of auto rifles. It's good, very good, but it sounds like shit. Off the bat, it has slightly better base stats for range and stability than Artic Haze, and much better recoil. Aim assist value is the same solid 75 as Artic Haze, and has only a slightly higher zoom value. Perk options for this are less varied compared to the other 2, but you can get some great rolls, and in particular, Kill Clip paired with Outlaw, High Cal, Ricochet, Arrowhead Break make this such a stronger force in Crucible. This weapon is so easy to get on a spree with because of Kill Clip, and it takes the TTK from 0.83 down to 0.58 seconds, which catches anybody off guard. For those who love their Rampage or Kill Clip spec gnawing hungers, this is the weapon to get. That higher stability and weapon damage perk mean this gun is certainly viable for comp or trials. In non-competitive playlists, it's hilarious. Almost every game that I've used this with, other people start using the Reckless Oracle shortly. And in the gameplay here, I got into a game that already, started at, and I was down 5, and it didn't matter. This got me, tied with the leader in no time and ended up winning the match. Now, currently there's a funny bug where the sights on Reckless Oracle don't work and the red dot doesn't show, but it hasn't really mattered. Due to how this weapon fires, you basically make your own sights by a stream of bullets you launch. So out of all three, if you want something that dominates and you enjoy auto rifles, definitely try to get a good Reckless Oracle with kill clip. It's just the most lethal out of all of our 720s. If you enjoy something with some unique perk options and is more satisfying to hear shoot, definitely go with Artic Haze. I think where there needs to be some work by Bungie is to sort out why we have 600 RPM SMGs. It used to be anti-ope being a very viable option, especially with kill clip, but friction fire, which we'll review on a later date, is just not as good. And why use an SMG when you can use a 720 auto rifle that has more bullets, is easier to use, and is just as good in the short range? Just my quick 2 cents there. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.